Hi, and I am Michael Richardson, and today I'm going to be talking about my two choices for the diversity film assignment. My first choice was When They See Us, which is about the Central Park Five case, which was really famous in the 1990s, and it was these five minority teenagers who were essentially were just in the wrong place, the wrong time, and they got uh, blamed for this crime that they did not commit. And the police, who was struggling to find any leads or information, coerced the young kids into confessing for the crime that they could not commit. And so they were wrongfully sent to prison for, I think it was 11 years. And this show essentially goes over uh, the events that happened both um, during the trial and preceding the trial. And my thoughts and feelings about this was that I was just altogether I was very much disgusted, and I was very much I wouldn't say offended, but I was just appalled by the not only the wrongful accusation of the five teenagers, but also the crime itself. Um, One thing I definitely don't want to get lost in this is the fact that even though the crime was wrongfully committed, um, or wrongly convicted, there was still a crime that took place, and the crime that did take place itself was also extremely horrible. I think his name was Reyes, or the real killer, or not killer, but rapist. Is like the whole like everything he did was just completely inhumane and awful, and it made me feel bad as a human being. And then just not only did these five kids lose their their adolescence, they also missed out on the ability to uh, not only change their own lives and had to the ability to make their own lives better, but it also took away the from the lives of the families of these people who they also didn't deserve to lose their child or their brother or their best friend, you know during this as well. Like that was not something that was fair to them. And it's also not fair at all to be able to see these people who were the ones that put them in the prison, not to see any real justice come their way. And even though I feel happy with the fact that these guys got the $41 million compensation, they're gonna have they had to go to prison, and they had to deal with the PTSD and carry all the baggage and the pain and the real damage that was done by all this. And the people who were the reason why they were in there do not. And some like the insight I gained from this film, and how I feel like it could help me as a helper is, it I'm going to be a basketball coach, so the number one thing for me that this is going to affect is, I have to make sure that my students are safe all the time, and that, they know how to be safe and how to, you know, approach to different situations. And I could go about doing that by having cops or detectives come in, or just doing presentations on like social and uh, environmental awareness as well. And then also they need to know that, and I'll also feel it's important that they know that you need to have a strong family, like accepting environment where that everyone is accepted, like everyone has respect, and that is something that if that is ingrained into their personalities genuinely, then crimes like this won't be around them, and if I can help them be aware in situations, and know to ask for a lawyer and things like that, they won't be able to get coerced into these kind of situations. And I feel like that's the best way I can apply the what I learned. And something I learned about myself is that there's only like you can do so much in this world, and without realizing how there's other people other than me, especially as a white person, who don't get the same start line. Um, I'm so blessed and so lucky that even something as simple as my skin color is benefiting me. Um, and I feel just as much as that's ridiculous. And I feel that, and by that I mean it shouldn't be an advantage for me. It shouldn't be an advantage for everyone. I feel that my work and my, you know, results that I bring should be the determining factor. And I feel like that should be that way for everyone. The impact of the representation of this on the screen, I feel, was um, it definitely was a huge effect on the social justice movement, and it completely launched a whole nother like there was obviously the George Floyd thing that happened this summer, but before that, I mean, there's just been so much, and then this coupled with, I think this came around the same time as like the Ferguson shootings and things like that. Like, it really helped, put in the mainstream the back, like the thought process of this uh, social justice movement needs to be in front of people's minds, not just something that they acknowledge exists and not actually pay any attention to. And the second film I uh, watched and would like to review is Love on the Spectrum. And my thoughts on this is that I actually have two autistic brothers who are both in different places on the spectrum. And so I actually watched this because I actually had some prior experience, and I was curious to see, as they are both in their teenage years and trying to find love, um, what this particular show would show me, and if it could help me or educate me uh, as far as helping them. And what I came to find out is that the show was entertaining, and it was very unique, as it was a love show that was genuine about love, and was not a show that was intended for, crazy eliminations, over the top drama, you know, crazy challenges to prove love that are obviously scripted. Basically not a bachelorette. There's no Claires on this show. Uh, about what I learned about myself is that I'm just so lucky to not have to deal with the everyday problems that an autistic individual has to deal with, and especially having everyday experience with autistic individuals to help couple this. It's just, I feel for them, and they, everyone that I've experienced as autistic is as their own, they're all different, and they all have to deal with it in their own way, and it's just not like, I'm just thankful that it's not something that I have to deal with, and I definitely, you know, empathize with the people who do have to. And one of the things that I feel like this did not do was this show, Love on the Spectrum, was it didn't show, I feel, enough diversity in the spectrum itself of like the levels of how autistic individuals are. And I feel like it could have shown more diversity in the sexuality of the autistic individuals, could have shown more genders, and how individuals with that could have, um, who are autistic, operate. And on top of that, I also feel that they definitely could have shown, since autistic individuals who are generally very um, interpersonal and very uh, like private, my two brothers are very private and closed off people. Um, to show them the how they're dealing with the aspect of being on reality television. And so when they're on reality television, it has to be affecting them in some way that is different than the normal individual. But not only that, but I feel like it could really affect how the relationships end up forming really when they have, they so easily could be caught up in the show and things like that. And as a helper, this show didn't for me teach me much about autism that I didn't already know. It didn't necessarily help me much as a helper either. um, I felt that this show was like really great at showing acceptance and showing um, respect and kindness towards the autistic individuals, which um, it does like, which I feel like does help me as far as it definitely reaffirms the uh, common cliche that autistic individuals cannot achieve love or really be able to handle much responsibility. And I completely disagree with that. And I feel like this show does help show that. And I feel like that is something that I can use as in the future as a helper. And lastly, I just like to say that I feel that the representation of the autistic individuals was genuine, and I don't believe after watching it that there was any like mistreatment or misleading of the individuals because they're so innocent and can be easy and are so malleable. However, I don't feel like it showed enough of the realistic problems that autistic individuals have to deal with. I feel like it could have shown more of the. It definitely could have shown more of the certain like real deep problems that a uh, autistic individual would deal with in a relationship to try to show try to show more insight on what it's like. And to wrap it all up, I felt like one other small thing that I felt was a little goofy was the music. A lot of the music and the mood sometimes is out of place for like an adult TV show, and it kind of almost made it feel like it was more of the treating it like these autistic individuals who are full grown adults are like 12-year-olds, and I just feel that that could have done a little better. Um, and just to as far as it being related to representation, I feel like it could have made it feel a little more serious. In all, I feel that both of these taught me a good deal about diversity, and I especially the This Is Us, and they both captured um, both personal and perspective emotions for me, and uh, I really feel that I gained a lot from this project. Thank you.